Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rock Room. I was thinking this week we should try to do something different, something we haven't done before, and that's what I want everybody to do is, don't always just go with the flow. Try your own thing, try to do something different. Not like I haven't seen this done before, but lately, I'm just kind of getting bored doing the same old stuff, so let's do something a little bit different. I'll turn the camera around, I'll show you what I mean. So here we got piece of, this is blue tiger eye. It's actually so dark, it's just about black. And then I've got a piece of spiderweb chrysocolla here. And what I'm thinking is we will do some cutting and some gluing and some cutting and some gluing and some cut. No, that was it, right? We'll do some cutting and some gluing and some cutting and some gluing, and we'll kind of see if we can make some kind of not necessarily a different shape, but a kind of a different look. Maybe something where you have a little mix and match of stones inside of one stone. So I don't have any plan. I'm just kind of winging it. And we'll just see what happens after we start cutting. So I'll start cutting some pieces of this and we'll figure stuff out. Okay, so here's my pieces cut up. And now we can just glue them together. No. Not even close. So what we now have to freaking do is you can see the gaps in there. And the gaps in there. No, this would not make a good match. So what we have to do now is we have to take this onto the flat lap and make sure we get everything perfectly flat. So when we glue these together, there's no seam, or there's going to be a seam, but as small and unnoticeable as possible. All right, so you got the old flat lap out. Got the 180 on here. I'll try using this 180, see if that'll work. And we'll start to grind these edges flat, see what we can come up with. Alright, so now I got these things flattened down, and I dried them off. And a good way to check it is, and I know you can see light through there, but that's just because I'm trying to hold this on with one finger. So just hold it up to the light, make sure you can't see any light going through those two pieces. And as you can see with this, obviously this is a lot smaller now because of course it broke. So yeah, so now we will glue this up. Get my other half, we'll start gluing this up, and then we will continue from there. But maybe right now I can even cut this down a little bit smaller, so I don't have so much to work for, because I'm really worried about if I go any further with this chrysocolla that this piece is just going to break again. And then, so maybe the more work I can get done on these will be the less likelihood I'll break that, if that makes sense. Okay, so now we got this cut down a little bit more of a manageable size. Because I wasn't going to make anything real huge with this. So now we will let this dry, especially these edges, the one parts we're going to glue up. We'll let this good and dry, and then we will stick it all together. You can see how wet that is yet. So we will let this dry, and then we will stick it together, and whether we're going to use some artist adhesive or something 6 now we're using super glue. That's what I use for everything, super glue. Right, why not just use something that works? Good old super glue. So I'm gonna let these dry and then we'll glue them up. Alright, so I got this glued up, and of course I glued it on a little piece of plastic because I don't want to glue it to the table. So don't make that mistake. Use a piece of, and I didn't really want to use a napkin or paper, although that would work. And then, you can take the chance that the super glue will go right through the napkin. If there's enough on there, it's going to go right through the napkin. and it's gonna go right into the table. And then you're gonna stick the super glue and your rock to the table right through the napkin. So I use a little piece of plastic there. That'll be fine. So we'll let this dry. Okay, so the glue had set. I let it dry so it's set up. And then I went and I cut it again right down the middle. And why did I cut it down the middle? Well, because we're going to take it and we're going to skew it a little bit. You know, maybe like half and half, something like that. And now I'm going to glue it back together. And then we'll cut our piece out of there. So it'll kind of have that offset blue thing going through the middle, Chrysocolla, and it'll kind of give it like a little offset look to it. So I'll glue that up and let it dry. Alright, so now here's our piece all glued up with that little step on it. So yeah, and it looks a little rough on the top. That's okay because we're going to make this into a cab. So and that it's pretty thin too, but that's okay too because it's going to be a smaller cab. So we'll still be able to get a nice dome on it, at least a little bit of a dome. So now we're going to draw out our shape of what do we want our cab to be, and then we'll trim it up on the trim saw, and I'll show you what it looks like. Well, first we got to pick out a shape. Alright, so here's a little cab roughed out. So now we will take it on the wheels and see what we can make it look like. Okay, so there's our finished little cab. Tiger Eye Chrysocolla. Now obviously maybe Tiger Eye wasn't the best material to use because of the fibrous nature of, you know, the seam is tight here. I mean, you can't even get a razor blade, but you can still kind of see the seam there. And like I say, perhaps that's because the Tiger Eye is more fibrous, but if you look at where you join it with the Chrysocolla, you can't notice it at all. So, you know, maybe Tiger Eye wasn't the best idea to go with. So we'll give this a try on something else, but you can definitely see the concept of how you can join materials together. You say that was just super glue. Maybe the Chrysocolla should have been a little bit thinner, perhaps. You know, there's a lot of changes you can make, but this is just to show you what you can do. Whoop, I almost dropped it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rock Room. This week I'm going to continue on with some of this mixing stones together. I did a little bit of this, I think I did on a TikTok video, but I'm going to do a YouTube video of this. And what we're going to do here, let me turn this around. Now I got a couple pieces here, and what it is, it's a piece of, let me see if I can find some light here. It's a piece of green jasper, and this is a piece of that copper ore. I don't know what's the good side on it. So we're going to join these two together. They're just little scrap pieces, and yeah, I could make some things out of here, but we'll just join them together, and then we'll. What I did is I put these on the flat lap. You know, I just held them on the flat lap and got the edges nice and flat and smooth, so when I glue these together, they'll have a real tight bond. You won't be able to see the seam as much, or at least any space, which will turn black in the seam. So what I'll do now is I will glue these together, and I just use the super glue, and I'll glue these together, and we will pick our design on what we want to cut out of this, and we'll go with that. Okay, we got this piece of agate and matrix. This is a real black stone, and it's got this cool looking agate that filled the seam. And this is actually a crack Obviously it was cracked in there years ago, or generations ago, and filled back in. But there is some fractures elsewhere in it. If I flip it over, again, a lot of these were filled back in, so I don't think there'll be a problem. But there is some fractures hiding in there. It's wet right now, so it's real hard to tell. So I'm going to kind of give this dried off, give it a good look, and then we will, you can see that big one coming in there. I don't know how far that goes up into there. So we'll give this a look when it's dry, figure out where we can cut a stone. I'll show you where we'll draw the stone and what we'll do. Okay, so here's what we kind of ended up with. I was kind of looking at that copper, and I just thought, well, I'll just do a thin sliver of the copper on the bigger piece of green. Because if you had it like even, it just didn't seem right. But as I cut it, you know, I kind of covered up with a piece of cardboard. I covered up some of the copper, and it looked to be like a better look with just this thinner piece. So I will take this now, and first because it's square, I'll drill a hole in it for a cord, and then we'll work on shaping it on the wheels. Okay, so here's this piece finished up, and like I say, this is some green jasper and some copper ore. So for the bad lighting, it's as best as it gets in here. But yeah, kind of pretty interesting. And as time goes by, the copper will start to turn dark, like it won't be this silvery color that it looks like now. It'll turn like regular copper colored. So yeah, pretty cool. Okay, so I marked my stone out here. And the reason I got two lines on there, let me turn this around a little, this helps it all. So the reason I got two lines on there is the first one I drew was a small oval, and then I kind of looked, and remember this is the front side here. So I looked at where my fractures were, and I thought maybe I could just squeeze just a little bit bigger one out of there. So I went and drew the big line over the small one, and just when you're cutting, just to make sure that you're cutting on the big line, don't follow the small line. So I'll cut this out, see if it holds together, and if it holds together, we will continue on. Okay, so I got it roughed out, it held together fine so far. I went with the big stone like I said I was going to do. Seemed to be fine, I don't see any fractures. Remember, this is the front side here. This is the back. So yeah, we will continue on shaping this up a little bit better, and then putting the dome on it. Okay, there we go. She's all polished up, nice and shiny. I'll put it under the light here. I don't know if that light's such a good idea. I don't think it's bright enough outside. No. Yeah, well, you know, so much for lighting, right? But yeah, came out pretty cool. Almost has some buoyancy in that black. Held together real nice. You can kind of see some you know, possible fractures running through that back, but they didn't come to the front. So yeah, there's a better look. So pretty crazy looking agate matrix. So yeah, that kind of wraps up this week. So thanks everybody for tuning in and watching and exploring the world of rocks, and you know, kind of lets you know what else you can do with stones. You know, you just don't have to do the norm, kind of break out of the box, try something new. I mean, just may as well try. What the heck, right? So like I say, I have a bunch of over the road runs I got to do. It's everybody knows what I do. I'm a truck driver. I do flowers, so everybody has their Valentine's flowers coming up. We know that's getting real close, so we got to do a bunch of extra runs. So if you're from Wisconsin or the Northwoods, hey, I'm the guy that's bringing your flowers. More than likely, go to Miami every week. A bunch of times this coming up week. It's okay. It's supposed to be cold. It's supposed to be warm, I guess, when I'm doing these extra runs. So, but I'll give you a sneak peek of what we'll be doing when I come back. I think I might have like a day and a half off. I've got some stuff pre-done ahead of time, and I'm doing that right now. So I'll kind of give you a sneak peek of what we'll be doing in a coming up video. So let me turn this around. Okay, if anybody's familiar with this is called mookaite, and this is from Australia. It comes in a lot of different colors. This is predominantly goldish, red, some pinks. You know, it has a again some rough when they find it out, you know, exposed to the environment, to get like that. But, it can even have like little dendrites in there. It also has, I don't know if I got a piece here. It's got like metallic, like thin layers of metallics running through it, ironstone or iron. So it can be conducive to fracturing, you know, along them. And whenever you see these the reddish purple, that seems to be where that iron lies. And then obviously with the red, with the iron staining, and that's to where it fractures. So we'll be cutting some of this up, and I will be showing this in a future video. So yeah, you know, mookaite's really cool looking. I'll explain kind of what it is in this coming up video. You know, the makeup of it and stuff like that. And I also got this thing right here. I have a good friend of mine, if everyone remembers from my first season, and one of my giveaways, Ronald Hopus and Up North Adventures with CCC were the two winners. Of course, CCC sent a bunch of rocks for me, a bunch of banded ironstone, Kona dolomite, a lot of fossils, and a lot of Lake Superior agates and stuff, she had done. But Ronald Hopus just had recently sent me this, and if anybody knows what this might be, or maybe not, he does them on a what do they call them, printers? One of them. I'm not. You know, this technology stuff is way beyond me. So yeah, he's got one of them printer things that he can print out stuff like that, and this may help a little bit. It's for your cabbing machine, and of course I have can't really see that, but I have a Kingsley. It's just what I have. I love it. It's the 8-inch with the Nova wheels. So yeah, so that device is for the Kingsley 8-inch cabbing machine. And again, I'll show you in a video coming up what it's actually used for and how we use it. And I'm a freehand kind of guy, but I've been dying to try it. I'll be able to try it coming up pretty quick. So yeah, it's something pretty kind of neat. And like I say, so if you have the Kingsley, and I don't know if he's selling these things or he plans on making them to sell. I don't know. I guess we could always find out and ask him. But so yeah, I've been dying to give this a try, and I will be giving it a try coming up too. So again, thanks everybody for watching. Enjoy your warm up. I guess we're coming up to some warm up for a couple days. Supposed to be record breaking stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. It's cold. It's always cold here in Wisconsin. So if we get it or not, well, we'll find out. So yeah, thanks everybody for subscribing and tuning in to see what's happening in the rock room. Thanks a lot. Have a good one. Get out there and do something with some rocks.